Welcome Barber. In this step-by-step guide, I'm going to teach you how I create a professional tapered finish on men's hair, as well as more game-changing techniques you can use. Whether you're a new barber or just learning at home, this guide is for you. My name is Michael Home and I've been cutting hair for over 20 years. I'm starting this cut by making a foundation with my little trimmer. So I'm going to cut a notch out of the side of the head at either side of the head before I go round to the back and cut a gentle arc just around about an inch inside the hairline. The reason I'm cutting an arc is because I want to create bolder lines at the side from the ear down towards the nape of the neck at the end. So now I have my arc, I can clean that area up completely. And if you look at these arrows, that's where I want to make bold lines at the end. With that in place, I can get my large trimmer with the lever closed and start to build on my foundation. So I'm just going to flick into that a little bit higher before I move to a lever open position, and then I can go slightly higher again. This is me building up from the shortest point, and once I've done that, I'll put a number 1 onto the clipper and I'll go a little bit higher again. This is me starting to develop the taper. So we're going from nothing into slightly longer hair, and I just keep working my way up and flick the clipper into the line. Don't go too high with the clipper. It's easy to get carried away, but we almost don't want to cut that hair up near the crown. Okay, so I'm just going to step back a little bit and I'm going to put the half guard on now, just with the lever closed, and I'm just going to flick into this, but not as high as I did with the 1. With that done, let's get the 1.5. So we're moving up again. This is building up slightly higher, and I'm just going to go up. Can you see where I'm curving the clipper off the head? That's coming off the head just where the occipital bone sticks out. That's the bone that sticks out most at the back of the head. And because this haircut is a restyle from what was once a skin fade, I don't really need to cut the hair above the occipital bone. So the last step at this length is just move the lever down and work slightly higher again. But look, I'm not going beyond that occipital bone. Let's keep that area above there free of the clipper. It's going to look a lot better if we leave some hair there. And also, if he wants to grow his hair longer, he needs some support above the occipital bone. Now, let's work the other way on the sides. Let's decrease our way down. So I've still got that half guard on with the lever closed, and I'm just working up. That's about as high as I want to go. So I'll just cover that area over towards the back with the 1.5 guard. That's the longest length I'm going to be using with the clipper in this haircut. Hold the ear down so that you can get the teeth in behind, and do the same on the other side. So let's move down to the number 1 now and work our way into the line. Now this won't get rid of the line. We will have to step down. So take that off, move the blade to the half position and just flick in. Don't go as high. So each time you move down a grade, here's me moving down to the 0 now, you don't need to go as high as you did with the previous grade. Now I love this, making it pop. So with the little trimmer, we're going to make some really bold and clear lines, working this time from the ear down towards the nape of the neck. Now keep this line straight. Don't go beyond the hairline, okay? Just work your way, keep going straight down. Use the corner of the blade to etch out around the ear. And then here at the front, I'm just going to form a cleaner curve than what the hair naturally has. And that's going to make this taper effect pop out even more. I'd say that if you were doing a taper for a client, you should recommend this type of finish because it really makes it pop out more. Do the same at the other side. Now, whatever you do, make sure you keep your clipper blade at 90 degrees to the skin, and that's going to give you the cleanest line. So even though I'm using the corner there, I'm still keeping it at 90 degrees. Give that a clean up, make sure you don't miss anything. Now look at this, we've got a double crown. You see that? One of the key things with the double crown is to make sure you comb it in the right direction. So try and get it going in the direction that it wants to go. It's one of the hardest things to cut. Just comb it in the right way. Right, let's make a profile section, and the profile section is just a section down the middle where you would pick up the hair and cut from the crown towards the fringe in a straight line. It's supposed to be a guide. In this haircut, I'm not taking that much off the top. although you will see that I have to take off more from the sides of the top to make this a little bit squarer. By squarer, I mean that the hair on the sides is going to lift up. Imagine a flat top if you want. So working from the back to the front, I'm going to take sections now, and I'm going to go along that profile section. So pick them up with the comb, get a nice clean section and trim across. There's not a huge amount coming off here. There will be more at the left and right of this. Using the hook of the comb, drag the hair out, pick up and cut across. Again, hook of the comb the hair in front of it forwards, get right in at the root and lift the hair up into your fingers and work your way forwards from there. One of the best tips I can give you when you're cutting with scissors is to keep your section small. So don't take any more hair than the width of the comb. That's going to be plenty. Any more than that and you're going to start to find it gets a bit messy. I need to cut either side of the center now. So again, pick the hair up, drag the hook of the comb across and just pick up. Now the hair in the middle that I've already cut, I'm going to use that as my guide. So when I pick up, I can see the short hair at my fingertips and I'm going to cut to that. And I just keep working my way forward. This is pretty standard. If you've seen a few of my videos, this is the way I normally cut. I like to cut in 3 sections across the top. This is the right hand section now, and I'm going to cut my way towards the front from the back again. This is the 3rd section that I like to cut. I always work this way. It's good to have a method, a methodology that you can follow and you don't get lost in the haircut. So keep working your way towards the front there. And then at the sides, I'm going to do what some people call a block graduation. So slide my scissor in and I'm going to pick it up 3 sections, working my way down. So it's 1 at the top, 1 underneath and 1 underneath that, and then scissor over comb up the way. So pick up 1 section, move the scissor and comb down slightly, cut again, move down slightly, cut again, and then scissor over comb up the way to soften that. I think 3 sections is enough when you're doing a block graduation. You might need 4 or 5, but most of the time I take about 3 sections and that's it, pretty much blended in from there. So here we go again, 3 sections and just scissor over comb to smooth it out. Step back, scissor in, move down a little bit, scissor in, move down a little bit, and then smooth over with scissor over comb. On the fringe, I have a little bit of a point on this fringe, so I'm just going to pull it down in the middle and trim across, and I'm not going to take any length at all away from the sides of the fringe. That's going to bring the fringe a bit more into proportion. I still need to tie the beard hair into my haircut and edge up with the razor, but first I'll give it a quick dry off. I'm only going to dry it to about 80% and then hit this beard with the clipper. So I've got the lever open and I'm just going into the very edge of the beard where it joins the haircut. Now this is going to soften the top of the beard so that it fades perfectly into the haircut. Then get your large clipper comb and I'm just going to run over this to try and make this beard a bit cleaner. I'm not really removing a huge amount of length. I just want to keep the same shape but tidy the beard up all the way around. So clipper over comb on both sides. Cover the whole beard. I basically put the comb in and I'll pull it out to the same length all the way around, and I'll use a little bit of free hand underneath the chin so that I can make a nice chin shape, although my model does have a good jawline anyway. On the top lip, pull the comb down onto the bottom lip and then cut across the comb. That's a really good way to make sure that you're not going too high with the mustache. A mistake that you'll make is going beyond the top of the lip line with the trimmer. That is not going to look right. Well, not on this moustache. That's what I feel anyway. So I'm just cutting it right at the lip line. This is where it really helps to have a little trimmer and a big trimmer. Here's a great trick with a big clipper. Push the lever down, flip it over, and comb down through the moustache with it. And that will take the density of the moustache down without removing it. This is where it's really handy having a set like this from Suitprint, the Black Obsidian set. Now, as I said, there is a 20% discount code for this set in the description of this video, and very shortly I'll tell you a little bit more about the set and what comes with it. A little bit of razor work now. I've brushed my model's face with talc. You can see the slightly white line that forms around the beard as I bring the razor blade into the beard. Talc is okay if you have soft facial hair, you can just brush it on. It makes a slightly softer surface. Otherwise, I would use a clear gel. Make sure you pull the skin tight when you're using the razor and keep that razor at about a 35-degree angle. Quite honestly, I'm not a huge fan of a really bold lineup, so what I like to do is just take away the facial hair that is beyond what I would say is the beard line. So just take what's beyond it. I'm not too keen on going right down to form like a chin strap. Let the beard be as it is. I'm also not going to use any enhancements like fibers or the pencil. It is okay to use that, but my client is not going to use that when he leaves the shop, so I'm going to leave him with a really natural looking finish. While I show you the final cut, let me tell you a little bit more about these clippers that I used. They're one of the few clipper sets on the market that come with detachable blades. They're easy to clean and install, and there is a variety of blades that you can buy. The blades are zero gapped, and the main clipper has a constant speed of 7,000 RPM. I like the anti-slip rubber material that they've put on the casing of the clipper, and the clipper set does come with a good range of professional guards. Well, that's it from me. If you want to know more about the clippers, there's a link down in the description. But until next time, all the best with your taper haircuts.